Well, dear chess lovers, it's a puzzle-wise question to you. Black to play and win. I'm pretty sure it was so easy for almost all of you to find the winning continuation for black. It's you see in the puzzle-wise positions all the time. You have this check followed by check, check, and mate. Right? Going back to the initial position, folks, black to play and win. That's what Puzzle Rush is testing you. This quick access to tactical pattern recognition, namely a back rank problem, and you force a mate in 3 moves. The question is, can you apply this skill to blunder check context? Can you transfer this knowledge to your games while your moves become safe? Can you consistently make sure the opponents don't mate you in your actual games, right? So that's what we'll be talking about in today's episode. That's your position right now. It's white to play. Black just played the move queen f6, okay? White to play. You're facing some threats on the d4 pawn. What other threats are you facing here? It's your task to figure this out. And please avoid the blunder that happened in the actual game, folks. Please give yourself some time. What is the right way to defend the pawn and not to allow a disaster? You're a great player, folks, if you came up with, well, there are many options for white. Queen e3 is one. I'm defending d4, also defending the f2 square. What else? Queen d2 is a nice move. Defending d4 and f2. What else? Maybe queen b2. Defending d4 and also f2. Now, in the actual game, a big blunder took place with queen c5. White player told himself, hey, I'm defending d4, but also I'm posting my queen on a very active post. You see, in his mind, this was a very active defense, not only defending, but also hitting the weakness on d5. But what went wrong? Which process went wrong for white before playing this move? Yes, folks, I'm pretty sure white could have anticipated or seen this idea of queen f2 followed by mate in 2 moves, right? Just like in a puzzle rush position, white allowed a mate in 3 moves. If it was black turn to move, if I rotate the board right now, I'm 100% sure that white player would see this resource for black, correct? So that's an easy tactic that Puzzle Rush is testing you. But people are consistently giving those opportunities to their opponents in the actual games. So that's my question to you. Why does the skill not transfer? Why does the skill of seeing those tactics not make your moves safe? Why do you keep on blundering? I have a course coming up about this. It will be called the Chess Elevator. You'll be elevating your chess. You'll be raising your floor by consistently engaging in those practices where you need to rotate the board and avoid the blunder, correct? Because your move is allowing a mate in 3, which means you must be consistently paying attention to the opponent's checks against your moves, right? That's of course the first level, let's say. You have to make sure you don't allow a devastating check to begin with. Also, the course will test you to see the threats. That's the first threat, but also you should pay attention to this idea that is presented by the opponent's last move, right? Raise your floor means you're consistently getting better at seeing the threats, one move threats, but also blunder checking your moves. Imagine what a difference it will make to your game if you fix these problems, folks. And despite their importance, they are so underrepresented in chess literature. That's why the course is aimed at fixing those holes. But also I designed the course, I modeled the course on my rating climb series of how to reach 800, 1000 and 1200 ELO. The course promises you to take you from 600 all the way to 1200 with target exercises that are suited to your level based on actual games that I've witnessed. I looked at hundreds and hundreds of online games for this course to take shape, folks. Another puzzle rush-like situation for us. Black to play and win. Please take the stock, stop the video and find the winning move for black. Folks, I'm 100% sure this was easy for you. This bishop is guarded by the knight on f3, but this knight can be chased away from that post by simple removing the guard tactic. g4 hits the knight. If the knight moves, then our rook will capture that loose bishop on e5. Again, a very simple tactical operation that you can easily find in tactical puzzle books like Puzzle Rush. I'm 100% sure this came natural to all of you. But does it mean that you can transfer this knowledge to a blunder check context? Here, it's white to play, folks. Please decide between bishop takes e5 and knight takes e5. How should that pawn on e5 be captured by white in this position? And please avoid the blunder. You're a great player, folks, if you found the move knight takes e5. This is the safe option for white, and your knight is guarded by the bishop, but this bishop cannot be chased away from that post by removing the guard tactic. What was wrong with the move bishop takes e5? Let's blunder check the move bishop takes e5, folks. I won't put it on the board. I want you to visualize the problems behind that move. Yes, folks, if you take with the bishop, you're creating a situation where black can remove the defender of that bishop with the move g4, right? So this is blundering by allowing an unstoppable threat to the opponent. And there's also a gradual development to my observations, right? First, as we looked at the first example, people are blundering direct checks and then captures and then threats, just like that, right? This move doesn't blunder direct check, mate, or direct capture, but this allows an unparryable threat. That's why in my course there's a title, Blundering an Unparryable Threat. Black creates a threat which white has no response against. So by taking on e5 with the bishop, white is allowing an unparryable threat. This is, let's say, the final level of the blunder check process. But you cannot just look at every single random check capture threat because you will lose on time. We are searching for potential cues from the environment, potential signals that can trigger this careful process. And what's that signal, folks? The signal is that if you take on e5, your bishop is becoming a loose piece because it's attacked once and defended only once on that square. That's the definition of a loose piece in chess. And loose pieces drop off in chess. This means you should be very careful in those moments. Well, loose pieces drop off in this case by removing the defender tactic, which I'm 100% sure that you will find it in a Puzzle Rush context, right? It's the easiest tactic to be seen here. Black is winning, easy, peasy. And that's also the reason why blunders are so cruel, because once you make this blunder, your opponent has an easier chance in punishing that. First of all, it's their move. They are one ply closer. Second of all, well, people are having easy times in finding good ideas for themselves rather than finding the best move for the opponent, right? Confirmation bias kicks in, and here, really, black will defeat your move easily, folks. So the question becomes, how do we get better at consistently preventing such blunders? And that's what this course will train you a lot by rich examples. Another issue with Puzzle Rush and relying only on tactical puzzles, folks, is that they are asking you to train forcing moves at all times, right? There's almost always a forcing solution, and you're searching for direct solutions first, and they're usually working in Puzzle Rush or tactical puzzle books. And you can also try to over-rely on them in your games. For example, here, in this position, folks, white to play, please choose between queen takes h6 and bishop h7 check. I will give you two candidates to choose from. What would you go for in this position and why? Okay, please evaluate the position first. Folks, queen takes h6 is a much better move, multi-purpose, not only creating a threat of queen takes g7 mate, but also queen h7 check. Our attack is gaining in strength and our pieces are beautifully placed. We have a very, very good position, okay? For example, queen d7, some checks can result. There are many ways for white to play, but this is also quite logical, right? Everything is pinned, and then you can go maybe bishop g6 or even h4, h5, h6, and to organize an attack, intensify the attack on the king side. This was the best, but the white player in the actual game played the move bishop h7 check. And this, to my mind, is sort of like playing checkers or relying too much on this forcing move algorithm. Let's go for checks directly and expecting the opponent to recapture. Now, I'll rotate the board for you. It's black to play, folks. Do you think this bishop should be captured, or should black play the move king h8? You have two choices. Please avoid the blunder. And that's also what you'll be tested in my course, the chess elevator. You're about to avoid such disasters, devastating blunders that is also around your king. Well, folks, in the actual game, the blunder took place, king h7. Why this move is a blunder? Because it's allowing a mate in 2. Black captured the bishop, and he ignored this direct check on g6, followed by queen takes g7, correct? So in this case, we are falling for blundering a mate in 2. Before you execute your move, you need to make sure the opponent doesn't defeat your move by a direct check. So it was black's responsibility to check for queen g6 check in this position. And that's the only meaningful check after king takes a7, right? So that's the only move, really, that you need to analyze before capturing that bishop. Black did not engage in this process. Black played checkers, and black lost in 2 moves. And white was also wishing for that. So white was playing checkers and engaging in wishful thinking before playing the move bishop h7. Such an instructive double mistake. Well, the best move is king h8, of course, right? We're not playing checkers, we are playing chess. I don't need to take your bishop. And suddenly this bishop is strangely placed on h7. Queen h6 is now prevented because I can just capture your queen. And if you go ahead and play queen g6 anyways, well, I have many moves to defend g7, maybe rook a7, maybe rook e7, right? And suddenly your bishop is very strangely placed on h7. My king is safe. There is no mate. And if white is careless and play the move rook e1, folks, please, 3-ply calculation. And that's also, it will be tested in my course, the chess elevator. 3-ply calculation and black wins. Can you exploit the fact that this rook is a loose piece on e1? White is having back rank problems, and you see the tension between those 3 pieces. Please stop the video and tell me 2 good looking options for black that wins the game. You're a great player, folks, if you found the move bishop f5. Bam! Hitting the queen, but also discovering an attack on the rook on e1. White has no time for this because, well, you can take the queen, right? At the very least, I can take the queen and achieve a winning position. And if you take my bishop, then comes rook takes e1, mate. It's black who is giving mate. You see? Very short calculation, 3-ply. Bishop somewhere, followed by a disaster waiting white in this position. So it's another blunder, by the way, rook e1. Only focusing on their pieces, only focusing on the worst place piece. He tries to activate the rook, but he doesn't safety check his move. He's blundering an unpayable threat, right? So rook e1 is a big blunder because it allows a threat like this that white has no response against. That's a beautiful blunder, folks. And finally, this will be your homework position, folks. I found this position fascinating. It's white to play. Black just hits your pawn on e5. But black also has so many issues in terms of development. This king is unsafe in the middle of the board. The queen and the bishop can coordinate an attack against the weakest point of f7. So I will give you maybe 3 choices. Do you go queen f3, queen f5, or queen e2 in this position, right? So there are, let's say, 3 different locations for the queen. You want to, let's say, attack f7 twice. You also want to defend your pawn on e5, right? I also maybe want to attack the loose knight on g4. So I will give you 3 choices. All look reasonable at first sight, and I want you to properly blunder check 1 or 2 moves and settle on a good move in the end, right? Sometimes a move can look beautiful at first sight, but it may turn out to be a blunder. So you need to safety check your move despite the first appearances. A move at first sight looks like a beautiful multi-purpose move that is resolving all the problems in your position, right? It looks so beautiful and juicy. But once you look deeper, once you ask yourself those questions, can it be punished? Am I giving a direct check? Am I giving an unpayable threat to the opponent? Then you are becoming a scientist. You need to have this, let's say, falsification mindset instead of verifying mindset, right? To spot the blunders. In this case, I'm asking you to avoid the blunder, Especially one move looks so beautiful, so juicy. It looks like black should resign, but it turns out that it's white who needs to resign after that move. And I want you to carefully study this position and write to me on YouTube your answers and how you reached that conclusion. Okay, that's a very nice puzzle. And that's exactly what is missing in the chess literature, folks. Right? Despite the importance of this process, blunder checking, there are very little resources in the chess literature that can test you with those rich examples with human explanations as well, psychological causes of those blunders, and to have a really structured approach to this blunder check process. My course, the Chess Elevator, involves dedicated blunder check puzzles. And hopefully, as I've raised my table today, your chess will also be raised after you carefully study this course. I put my heart and soul into it. I truly believe in the value of this training to fill those important holes and automatize very important thought process in your games, folks. Please give me a like and subscribe if you like this video, and please give me feedback on YouTube, including this answer to this homework question. What are you doing to apply puzzle-wise skills to your games in a defensive context, in seeing the threat, but also blunder checking your moves? Why does it not always transfer naturally? And what should be going on in our head to fix these issues in chess, to raise our floor and enter the chess elevator and press number 3? I'm waiting for your answers, and I will catch you on the next episode, folks. Have a great day.